my version of what's going to happen in the next 10 years is, or even 5, is 86% of the value of, or market cap of the top 50 companies are US. And then on the battlefield and in commercial, deploying AI, I think people somehow still don't quite understand. And I think the power.
Don't understand what?
Palantir's CEO just made a bold prediction. America's economic dominance is about to explode. Check this video out.
How much it's going to change the relative GDP of America compared to, say, our allies. Like, you know, I think it was 61 to 92, rough. France's GDP grew faster than America's. Can anyone imagine any European country having a GDP even half as strong as America will have in the next 5 years? And let alone the next 20 years. And so, and then you have the battlefield is going to be AI and smaller weapons driven. And the almost complete tech scene for that is in this country. And so,
You consider that soft power, economic power?
Well, no, I think
what
the hard.
category is that in?
No, I think the hard power is going to be so dominant that I think the real problem, and if you just take America vis-a-vis Europe, so leave China, Russia, Iran aside, the real issue we have is this economy. Like, just to take Palantir's financials, we grew 54% last year in U.S. comm, and in continental Europe we grew 4%. And I think that's pretty typical of what's going to, I mean, that's extreme, but you get it. And by the way, we have the same product, the same people, the same implementation. Like, these countries are just completely diverging. And I think what we're entering, one of the things I'm fascinated about, the book reads like it was written for today, but one of the things—
It was written a year ago.
Palantir's U.S. growth versus Europe's is a perfect microcosm of where the future is headed. Europe's slow adoption of cutting-edge tech isn't just an economic problem, it's a security risk. In a world where AI and autonomous systems drive conflict, those who hesitate will be left behind.
Yeah, it was written a year ago. But one of the things that's not in the book that kind of is a way of addressing this point is people who kind of like look at, say you're in Germany and you're thinking about the tech scene. What you say in private is, yeah, it sucks, but the pendulum will swing back. I've heard this 1,000 times. But what I tell them is, you're thinking of software in kind of the old school way, but in this pendulum swing, the pendulum may never swing back. You've got to run now. And so I think we're just in a completely different world where, you know, if people, oh, we have questions. If people, like, a lot of people are waiting out the clock for the pendulum to swing back. I think that pendulum is going to accelerate, but not swing back. And so you're going to find that the GDP growth and I think the big issue for the U.S. is, how do you make sure more people participate in the GDP growth? That what worries me in the U.S. is the winners win more. The non-winners also do much better, but it's societally very difficult when any group does better, even if everyone else does much better. So we are going to have to think a lot about, how do you get AI to work. You can use AI to train and skill workers, but that is really important for this country, because we do not want to be in a country where we're doing much, much better than every other country, but the average American doesn't see the benefits. And so that's got to be a central focus of what people who are building things think about. And there are a lot of good answers, but it's not, we need to think about it more than you would think we have to think about it, because it's, if the winners win 10x and everyone else wins 3x, well.
Let me ask you about that, because you want to win. You wake up to win. That's the goal at Palantir. But in the context of geopolitics, I was in Davos a couple weeks ago, and I sat next to a Chinese executive who said, "It's very interesting, Andrew. You know, for a very long time, we, meaning China, we were fine, or we were happy with the U.S. Being the leader of the world. We're less fine with them being the winner of the world, because if they're winning, it means that other people are losing." What do you think of that?
The old idea that industries follow cycles is breaking down. AI, software, and automation aren't waiting for a swing back. They're reshaping economies permanently. The U.S. is positioning itself not just as a leader, but as the singular force defining global tech dominance. Nations still waiting for the past to return are sealing their fate. Those who hesitate will find themselves locked out of the future.
I don't think in win-lose. I think in domination. So I don't like this win-lose thing, because it kind of presupposes okay to lose. And I think domination is important because it's very hard to build. It's very hard to build a business. And one of the real reasons it's hard is you've got to sit next to someone who is annoying you every cell in your body every day. And they may be right. So it's like every day you're dealing with somebody who is really annoying, and they're wrong 9 times out of 10. But the 10th time, they save your life. And so I think if it's just about money, if it's just about winning, if it's just about having prestige, for me, that's not enough to do that. That I could have just, I don't know, that's not enough, because that is just real, and it's super humiliating.
Domination isn't about crushing opponents. It's about setting the pace so aggressively that they become irrelevant. That level of commitment requires a mindset most people don't have. The ability to tolerate discomfort, criticism, and even humiliation is what separates those who build enduring empires from those who simply compete.
We have this thing where a lot of Palantirians are getting wealthy. And when I used to do a lot of therapy for people, largely in the beginning, to explain to engineers why their social life wasn't as good as their IQ. And this is not even like me making it up. It's completely true. It's like, yes, I know you have 180 IQ, but I know they should like you more, but they don't. It's online. It's kind of a great problem to have, but like a conversation I've now had 50 times in the last 2 months is like, yes, and the more successful you are and the more money you have, the more humiliation you're going to deal with every day. And the more you're going to feel it.
Wealth and intelligence don't exempt anyone from struggle. In fact, they amplify it. The more successful you become, the more resistance you face, from peers, from the public, even from yourself. The got to endure that and keep building is what separates those who simply have high IQs from those who actually change the world.
I got these people around me, no one believes it, but all day, no, you're wrong. Yeah, well, maybe the other left or whatever, however they want to humiliate me. It's a dyslexia joke. No, go turn the other left. But to get important, complicated, technical things. And by the way, the other thing is, to make things work, you've got to have your every part of your body and every part of your mind focused on this for like 5 years. Try that. It's really hard to do. And so to organize yourself around doing that, you need a higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me...
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us. So that's my lower purpose. And Yeah, and others. But the higher purpose for me was to get this nation to be the preeminent power in the world, because whatever faults we have, they're nothing like anyone else's.
Success isn't just about vision, it's about endurance. The higher purpose drives the mission, but the lower purpose, the personal grudges, the sheer defiance, fuels the day-to-day grind. Palantir's dominance wasn't built on comfort. It was built on obsession, resilience, and the refusal to accept anything less than absolute superiority. You can't just want to win, you have to need it, to the point where you are willing to sacrifice years of your life to see it through. That's why most people fail. They treat success like an ambition, not an inevitability. The few who make it to the top understand that domination isn't a goal, it's a way of life.